Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, hour number 2. Glad you could join us. By the way, coming up later in the show, Tommy Lauren from Fox Nation, former UNLV grad, will be joining us. This is a story that I wanted to bring up. I think it's very, very important. You know, I talk about Mike Pence all the time and how he's a hypocrite and how he's, a homophobe and his ridiculous opinions on gay conversion therapy. I think he is a nut. And now we have a former Republican lawmaker, Aaron Shock, and maybe this shouldn't come as a shock to anyone, no pun intended there. Well, maybe there was. But during his 6 years in Congress, Shock voted against many measures supporting by the LGBT community, including hate crimes legislation and the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So now the scumbag has come out as being gay himself, which is absurd. It's ridiculous. So the guy we have with us on the line right now, his name is Adam Sank, and he's a former comedian. He hosts a weekly podcast that's very popular called The Adam Sank Show, and he wrote an open letter to this former GOP congressman saying, you are not welcome here, and not that you asked for our forgiveness, but you don't have it. And this man, of course, Adam Sank, is an openly gay individual himself, so what better person to talk to than him? Adam, I appreciate you taking some time to join us. How are you?
Hey, Brian, my pleasure. I want to correct one thing you said. Instead of former comedian, I prefer washed-up comedian.
Okay, fine. All right, Mr. Washed-up comedian. No, you're a really funny guy, and we appreciate you taking some time to join us. So what do you make of this? I mean, you want to talk about the definition of a scumbag, a hypocrite, whatever word you want to use. This guy has been anti-gay his entire 6 years in Congress, and now he comes out as gay. What do you make of this?
Well, here's the thing. Those of us in the gay community, we knew Aaron Shock was gay when he was still in Congress because we all have gaydar, and because he decorated his office to look like a room from Downton Abbey, using his congressional funds, which is one of the reasons why he was forced to retire and later prosecuted. But we know a gay guy when we see one, right? He was always posing shirtless for all these muscle magazines, and he had all these male aides, these legislative aides who would travel with him to these countries, which was also on the taxpayers' bill. So we knew he was a closet case. And you know what? We didn't care. Like, if you want to be closeted, that's your business. You don't have to come out.
Right.
But don't vote against us. Don't vote against your own people.
Why would he do that, Adam? Why?
Hypocrisy. My understanding is that he represented a very conservative district, and they were the ones who put him in office. And, of course, none of them knew he was gay because conservative straight people have no gaydar. And
you're right about that.
He was just voting to please them. And, it's why does anyone vote against their own interests? It's all about political power or what they perceive as political power. He wanted to be part of the Republican Party. And then and now, if you want to be a real mover and a shaker in the Republican Party, one of the best ways to do it is to bash gay people, trans people, other repressed minorities. So then he leaves Congress, and for years he's showing up at all kinds of gay events. He's spotted online, canoodling with guys at Coachella and all of these other sort of fabulous events. Massaging guys' shoulders. There's a picture of him with his hand down some pants. There was a picture of him with a stripper in Mexico City. He wasn't really hiding the fact that he was gay.
A male stripper in Mexico City?
Male stripper, yes.
Oh.
Thank you for making that clear. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead, Adam.
It would have been a weird part of the story if suddenly he stuck his hand down a... Yeah. But anyway, so he was going to all these things and basically acting as though he were a member of the gay community. Meanwhile, he still hadn't come out, and more importantly, he hadn't addressed his voting record or apologized to the community. So yesterday, he finally does those things, right? Or at least he does come out. He posts this lengthy sob story on Instagram about how, his family has been so rejecting of him ever since they found out, and they wanted him to get conversion therapy, and all of that's terrible, right? We all relate to that. We've all been through a lot of crap with our families, most of us, when it comes to coming out. But then he goes on to talk about his voting record, and all he says is basically like, okay, so I was against gay marriage at the time, but so were Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama.
Right. What a cop-out.
Right. So he totally does a what about with those two, both of whom, by the way, when they were actually in power, when Obama was actually president and Hillary was Secretary of State, they were outspoken advocates of LGBTQ equality.
They were. Yep. You're right.
And they're the reason why the Supreme Court ended up passing it. They were part of the marriage equality movement. So that's completely...
and Adam, can I add something else, too?
Yeah.
So when he resigned from Congress in 2015... there was all this media scrutiny about him because of his spending habits. And correct me if I'm wrong, he was indicted on 24 charges of misuse of federal campaign funds back in 2016. And then after, he said it was 4 years of legal hell. And there was all these photographs that you were talking about. And then he said that he's still estranged from some of the members of his conservative family. Well, that doesn't surprise me one bit. But I got to ask you this. Since you do say you have the gaydar, and I believe you do, what do you make of Mike Pence? Do you believe Mike Pence is gay?
Well, I hope not, because we don't want him. But let me say this about just in general, because I don't know anything about Mike Pence other than the fact that he's a complete lunatic who refers to his wife as mother.
You're right, he does, yeah.
And can't be alone in a room with another woman who isn't his wife. Because, the temptation is so great. I mean, he's terrifying. The fact that he's in charge of the response to coronavirus right now is literally the scariest thing that's happening in the world. But I will say this. Most of the time, when you have very anti-gay people, when they're outspoken and they go out of their way to try to pass laws that repress LGBTQ people, whether they're preachers, whether they're lawmakers, whoever they are, it turns out sooner or later that they have homosexual feelings themselves.
Well, how do you decipher the difference between pandering and playing to your fan base or your political base, and as opposed to actually having being a closet case, as you mentioned with Aaron Shock?
Well, it comes down to integrity. Aaron Shock had a conservative voting record in everything he did. He could have been one of the few Republicans who said, you know what, I'm not voting for the Defense of Marriage Act because it offends me. He could have said, as a Republican who believes in small government, this law offends me because I don't think the government should be talking about who we should or should not marry. I think that should be left to the individuals or left to the states, right? That would have been a conservative position without bashing gay people. There's all kinds of ways to do the right thing and still please your constituents. And if you can't please your constituents, if they really do vote you out of office because you've done the right thing, at least you've done the right thing. Isn't that more important?
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Adam Sank. He's a former comedian. He liked me to describe him as washed-up comedian, but I would never say that. And he hosts a weekly podcast called The Adam Sank Show. Of course, we're talking about Aaron Shock, congressman of 6 years on the right, who has now come out as being gay, and he has been anti-gay, I guess you could say, based on his record of voting. And the man we have with us on the line right now says, we should not forgive this guy. He's not one of who we are and should not get forgiveness. Go ahead.
Brian, I just want to point out, he didn't ask for our forgiveness.
Right.
He didn't apologize. Nowhere in this lengthy note that he posted did he say the words, I'm sorry. He didn't ask forgiveness. He didn't say, I apologize. He said something along the lines of, if I were in Congress today, I would vote differently.
Yeah, who cares?
And that's great, but you're not. When it mattered, you were against us, and now you don't even have the decency to apologize.
Yeah.
And yet you still think you're welcome at these spaces that we have spent decades creating. There used to be a time where if you were gay, you couldn't go to a gay bar. There were no gay bars.
Right.
If you tried to gather with other gay people, you'd be arrested. That was a crime in and of itself. Just gathering with other known homosexuals was a crime. You would be beaten, you'd be arrested. In some cases, you were killed. Mm-hmm. We spent 50 years since Stonewall, and when I say we, I don't mean me. I'm talking about the activists in the streets who did this hard work to create these safe places where any queer person can go and feel comfortable and safe. And Aaron Shock just thinks he can wander in
It's a joke.
Take advantage of that?
No, you're right. It's an absolute joke. So I have to ask you this, Adam. What would you make of the President of the United States giving the Medal of Freedom Award to Rush Limbaugh, a man who has been openly homophobic and has said anti-gay things his entire career? What would you make of people on the right that believe in gay conversion therapy? We had Pete Buttigieg's brother-in-law on the line who talked about how he believes Pete Buttigieg is a sinner. What would you say to people like that, the Rush Limbaughs of the world and those who look up to him?
Well, first of all, Trump giving Limbaugh the Medal of Honor was one of the worst things Trump's ever done, and it's pretty hard to rank all the horrible things Trump has done. But that's definitely near the bottom. And forget about gay rights. Rush Limbaugh has attacked women. He's attacked people of color. His whole career has been about hatred and division and fear, and frankly, spreading lies and distorting reality. But I would say to those people who hate gay people or who don't believe that our lifestyle, which is a word I hate using, our orientation is somehow not valid, I would say, fine, you believe all those things, and then just go live your life.
Right.
And let us live ours.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to convert you. We're not trying to convince you that gay is good. We are just trying to live our lives. We're trying to have relationships and get married and raise kids and go to our job. Like, I'm calling you from my office right now. I'm on my lunch break. Like, we go to work, we pay our taxes, we have dogs and cats and live in the same neighborhoods as you. We're not like these freaky-ass people who are living some sort of aberrant lifestyle. The only difference between me and you is that you like chicks and I like dudes.
Yeah, chicks don't like me, though. That's the only problem.
That is an absolute fact.
Go ahead, JD. You got a question?
So Pete Buttigieg was the first ever openly gay presidential candidate. I thought he did an outstanding job. He obviously didn't make it that far. He endorsed Joe Biden after he dropped out. I think he has a huge future in politics. Do you believe that he will eventually be the president of the United States?
It's hard to say. I mean, he'll definitely be something, right? He's such an impressive figure, and he's charismatic. He's whip smart. He's got a great story, particularly being a military hero. I mean, to me, those are the bravest people on earth, are the people who join the armed forces and fight for our freedoms, and Pete did that. So I'd love to see him like as a cabinet secretary or, to maybe run again in the future. But I'll tell you, the people who had the biggest problem with Pete Buttigieg were other LGBTQ people who felt that, and I don't mean myself, but many friends of mine felt that he wasn't far enough to the left. And he also had a pretty spotty record when it came to dealing with race relations in South Bend. There were a lot of issues involving people of color being mistreated by the cops in South Bend when he was mayor, and he really never addressed it properly. At least that's how many people felt. So that's a problem, and I think that's why he didn't go further. But I personally think he has a lot to offer this country, and I'd like to see him learn from his mistakes and definitely come back in some form.
I could not agree with you more, Adam. Well, I have to say this. I am not attracted to men, but I like you very much, Adam, in a very heterosexual way. I hope that's okay.
Thank you. Yes, that's very titillating for me.
No, you know what? No, but in all seriousness, you do a great podcast. Really appreciate you taking your time to come on with us on your lunch break and talk a little bit about this. I could not agree with you more, my man. And I'm glad you've outed this guy because he deserves it, and we all need to, because this man has zero character.
Just to be clear, I didn't out him. He outed himself.
Very true.
I just responded.
Very true. Well, let me put it to you this way. I love your response, and I feel the same way you feel. Adam, thank you so much for joining us, man. Really do appreciate it. And I hope you resurrect your stand-up comedian career.
You know what? When the money's good enough, I come back.
Fair enough. Adam Sank, thanks for your time, man.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Appreciate
thanks
it.
a lot, Adam.
That is Adam Sank, a former comedian and host of a weekly podcast called The Adam Sank Show. Okay, so I pose this question to our listeners right now. And if you're just joining us, this former Republican lawmaker, Aaron Shock, just came out as gay for 6 years. He's put in all these anti-gay measures. So, first of all, does this guy deserve forgiveness, number one? And second of all, I agree with everything this guy Adam said, by the way. Why won't you let these gay people live their lives? Why won't you let them get married and raise children? Why won't you let them do what they do and you do what you do? So I asked you Christians out there, I asked you people on the evangelical right who support Mike Pence so much in this gay conversion therapy stuff, why won't you just let people live their life? Why do you have to interfere with their lives?
It's because, as the late great, or Jim Marchand, who was on our show a couple of days ago, he said, people aren't born gay, Brian.
Well, that's absurd. Yeah, because I'm sure Richard Simmons was born straight. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. We'll take some phone calls on this. I do want to take a break first, but again, I posed that question. What is your problem with people who are homosexuals? Here's my problem. I have a problem with at least one homosexual, maybe two. I'll put Mike Pence in there too. I have a problem with this guy, Aaron Shock. He votes against all these measures against the gay community, and now all of a sudden he comes out as gay, and he wants us to forgive him. He wants us to come out and say, well, not come out literally, and say, you know what, we forgive you, even though he didn't, ask for an apology. He didn't he didn't ask for one. I should say he didn't give one himself. The number to call is 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-257-5396. What do you think of a man for 6 years with all this anti-gay stuff in his 6 years in Congress, voting against many measures supporting the LGBTQ community, and now all of a sudden he comes out as gay? And his excuse is, well, look at Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. They were anti-gay measures. But you know what? When they were in office, they were not. So it's not correct. 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. We'll take a few phone calls now. 702-257-5396. Let's start off with Adam. Adam, you are first up on the Vegas Take. What do you make of all this?
Hey, what's up, Adam?
The reason why I think that homosexuality is a sin.
Why are you whispering? Can you talk like a normal human being, or what's going on there with you, Adam?
I'm in the library as a librarian.
All right. Have a nice day. Have a nice day, Adam. We appreciate
Adam,
the phone call.
Really good call.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Brady. Brady, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
What's up, Brady?
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. Hey, Brian, when are you coming out of the closet? Your whole show is dedicated to the homosexual community. That's all you talk about for the last 2 months straight.
So what did we talk about? Okay, so hold on. Just to be factual, what did we talk about in the first hour?
I didn't listen. I was busy.
You didn't listen. You didn't listen because you're a moron, Brady, and you make assumptions. You're an idiot, Brady.
We talked about
Brady the jackass. Brady the jackass. Back at it again. Oh, yeah, I didn't listen to the show, but all you do is talk about homosexuality. You know what you do, Brady? All you do is spew stupidity. Bye.
Right. We talked about homosexual basketball players, homosexual college basketball players.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
We were identifying homosexual college basketball players for 45 minutes.
Brady is like that guy Vito in The Sopranos, I think. I think he's living the double lifestyle, and he's afraid to get whacked. That's what I think. 257.
Do you think they are similar physically in stature?
I don't know, but I think Brady has an IQ of about 20. I'll say that. Let's go to Carrie. Carrie, you are next up on the Vegas Take. 257-5396. Carrie, what is on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Carrie?
Carrie, go ahead.
Hello, Carrie.
Carrie, can you hear us? Carrie, are you there? Carrie, did you just drop your Obama phone? I think she did. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Giuseppe. Giuseppe, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
How you doing there?
Good. What's on your mind?
Doing great.
I want to weigh in on all this here. I'm a believer, a staunch believer in the Lord and what he has written in the Bible. And if you read the Ten Commandments, a man shall not sleep with a man and a woman shall not sleep with a woman. And they want us to accept them, and I can't do that because of my religious beliefs.
Well, that's you, though.
It says in the Bible that God loves the person, but he hates the act.
Okay.
First, is it possible that you could actually
make them acceptable?
That you could repeat that commandment verbatim, please?
I'm sorry, what?
With the commandment that you just mentioned, can you repeat it verbatim?
I can't really hear you.
Can you repeat the verbatim the commandment, please, sir? Sir, I am God, and I am asking you to repeat my commandment. I am God. I am God Shapiro, and I am telling you to please repeat my commandment. Can you please repeat my commandment, sir? God told me to tell you, please. Oh, get this guy off the line, this lunatic. I said Jesus Christ. Oh, boy. That's going to really bother him. 702-257-5396.
He did say he couldn't hear us.
For the love of God, will you please open up your ears and get God says clean the wax out of your ears. 702-257-5396. I believe we have Carrie back on. Carrie, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
I call them a true politician. You got to flip-flop when you're a politician. And that's what they do on every aspect across the board. They flip-flop. Go back over the years and see how many switch their decision on what they do, or contradict themselves. Hypocrites. It's part of, you got to be a hypocrite to be a politician.
I think a lot of politicians do that, Carrie, but I don't think it makes it right.
It's not right, but how often do we hold people accountable for being right in politics?
But Carrie,
being wrong?
I understand. Carrie, listen, I understand what you're saying.
They hold Donald Trump accountable on a pretty consistent basis
Carrie,
for being wrong.
Carrie, I understand what you're saying, but while I understand what you're saying, Carrie, this is a specific situation where somebody comes out as being gay. Okay, he didn't really say who he was before he was in Congress, and he was anti-gay and put all these anti-gay policies in order, and now he comes out as gay, and he expects people are just going to treat him just fine. This is a very specific case of being a horrible hypocrite, is it not, Carrie?
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah.
It's right in your face, hypocrite.
Right.
Well, I mean, is it hypocrisy?
People won't forgive him just as they have forgiven Donald Trump for his crap.
Is it hypocrisy, or do you think that if Pete Buttigieg had run for presidency as a gay man in 2008, that
I was going to vote for him,
that Aaron Shock would have felt more comfortable coming out, and maybe he just did not feel at all comfortable about coming out, and now
nobody has a problem with him coming out.
complete.
We have a problem with him not coming out before.
I don't think that he knew that, though.
He knew he was gay for I don't know how many, from probably birth.
Clearly, he knew he was gay, but I'm saying I don't think that he knew that people wouldn't have a problem with him coming out.
That's in his. Then he is not aware enough of what's around him,
mm-hmm.
and what is out there. That is just an excuse. That's an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
He was a coward. He should have done instead of being somebody he's not.
I agree.
And that's on him.
There's
issue
something
with
to be
his lies,
said.
Not with what he is. I don't
There's
care if you're gay or straight. You do your job. You do your job.
Right.
Who you sleep with is none of my damn business.
I agree.
Right, but there's something to be said for the reason why there had never been a openly homosexual presidential candidate until the 2020 election.
Well, I think because there's a lot of people in this country that are bigots, quite frankly.
No, and moving forward, I think you'll see a lot more, and I was actually going to ask Adam this, but I think you'll see a lot more politicians come out as gay and feel more comfortable running for office to some degree because of what Pete Buttigieg did.
Carrie, I appreciate the phone call, and I do agree with you. And I think we all agree here it doesn't make it right. And this is one of those special circumstances, and I would not be surprised if Mike Pence was another one of those people. And by the way, yes, Mike Pence is a lunatic, and this is the guy that tried to prey off this AIDS epidemic and this needle situation. People died because of his stupidity. He'd rather be in the jerk circle, as I like to call it, and pray with people rather than actually get things done and put some things in place that could save people's lives. That is Mike Pence. I would not be surprised eventually in his lifetime. He probably doesn't have the courage to do it. Not to say that this idiot Shock has any courage, because he doesn't. But Mike Pence probably won't come out of the closet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's had homosexual experiences in his life. That would not shock me one bit. We're talking about this former Republican lawmaker, Aaron Shock, who has now come out as gay. For 6 years, he spent time in Congress, and he voted against many measures that would have supported the LGBTQ community. It is disgusting. It is wrong. And we're taking your phone calls on this at 702-257-5396. Again, 257-5396. We will get to all your phone calls on the other side of the break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN. All right. Welcome back. It is The Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us on a Friday. By the way, coming up in hour number 3 at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Tomi Lahren, a UNLV grad. Of course, you know her from Fox Nation, Fox News. She's made a gazillion TV appearances. She's been on The View. She's really been everywhere. So she's going to be joining us coming up hour number 3. Plenty to get to with her from a conservative point of view, so I'm sure we'll get into some good discussion coming up at the top of the hour. We are talking about this former Republican lawmaker. His name is Aaron Shock. He has a troubled past. Well, he's come out as gay, and under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be a big deal. Well, we're glad he came out. We're glad he's able to be comfortable with who he is. His whole life he hasn't been. But the problem we have with this is 6 years in Congress, Shock voted against many measures that would have supported the LGBTQ community, including hate crimes legislation and the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. For lack of a better term, this man is a scumbag. Make no mistake about it. And he's a coward. And we're taking your phone calls on this. What do you make of this? 702-257-5396. Should this man get any type of forgiveness? Should he have to apologize? Am I wrong? Did he do nothing wrong? Let us know. 257-5396. I promise I'd get back to some calls right away. Wayne, you've been waiting patiently on hold. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
How are you today?
Good, Wayne. What do you make of all this?
Well, I'd like to direct the traffic a little bit back in your favor, because some of the people kind of come down a little hard on you sometimes, Brian.
Oh, that's okay. I come back about 2 times harder on them, so it's all good, man.
Well, I understand, because I got a good friend that runs a radio as a host, and he's actually in Vegas, but he's internet radio.
Gotcha.
And some of the things that people throw at you guys is pretty stern.
Well, there's going to be ignorant people. There's always going to be people like that from time to time that are going to call in. I'd like to think that most of the people that call in are intelligent people, but we get a few people from time to time that forgot to take their medication this morning. That's going to happen, Wayne.
Right. But I got a question for you. And first, I'm going to answer your question. I think this character running in Senate and lying like that finally surfaced and has proven to the people that they cover everything up just to get their own way.
Yeah, they do.
And then when it surfaces, they're just like, here, we'll slam the door. I know I was wrong, but you couldn't accept it.
Make no mistake about it. He would have rather have hurted his own people, so he stayed in office, than doing the right thing and supporting those like him. That's what type of moron this guy is. He's just a horrible human being. He has zero character. He has zero backbone. And I hope he lives the single life every day for the rest of his life, and no gay man will date him because of this. I really hope so. I really hope that happens.
There's like this medical question I want to ask you because it's bothering me, but there's another person that has been in the grandstand running for president that has that problem, Brian. But you know what? I kind of know her a little bit because she's from my home state, Minnesota, and it's Elizabeth Warren.
Mm-hmm.
She started this, what I call fake news or fibbing a little bit about being Indian, but
yes.
She took the walk. Some things came down in Minnesota that, according to the politicians, sure put a lot of problems in the community,
right?
And they're not getting solved. And some of our better half in Senate and stuff are starting to come up with their own little fake news stories because it gets so boring watching. They have nothing else.
Well, and Wayne, what you said, by the way, Wayne, I do appreciate the kind words in the phone call. What you said about Elizabeth Warren, I think the reason why Elizabeth Warren will never be the president of the United States, probably never even the vice president, because she doesn't resonate. She didn't resonate just like Hillary Clinton didn't resonate. There is a phoniness aspect to Elizabeth Warren. I don't think she's a horrible person. She was a teacher, a special education teacher for a while. I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's a bad politician. There's a difference there, right? Donald Trump might be a good politician. He's a bad person. That is the difference. 702-257-5396. Again, 257-5396 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Michelle. Michelle, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Michelle?
Hey, I want to wish you a wonderful weekend, Brian and JD. We have beautiful weather.
We do.
And yesterday I said the virus was well in hot, dry, arid conditions. I meant to say dry, not humid yesterday.
Gotcha.
So we can look forward to our temperatures rising like today.
Michelle, I like your weather report. You're our new meteorologist. Thank you. We expect to get a daily report from you on the weather. I appreciate that. Hey, Michelle, what do you think about this guy? He comes out as gay, Aaron Shock, 6 years in Congress, and he voted on all these measures against the gay community. What do you make of somebody like that?
Well, actually, my thoughts were on your guest, Adam,
yes.
when he was attempting to paint a picture of normalcy, like Leave It to Beaver. He was saying we want to raise children, we have pets, we want to live in regular neighborhoods, we want to live our lives.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
We want to be in a married relationship.
Of course.
And the reality is that same-sex relationships go against the basic laws of nature. That's why two men cannot
Michelle,
have
but with
a
all
baby.
Okay, but Michelle, let's talk about this for a second. With all due respect, that is your personal opinion. Why do you
it's not
want?
my personal opinion.
Yes, it is.
The laws of nature. A man and a woman can have a baby.
According to who?
That is actually the law of nature.
According to
a man
who?
and a man cannot have a child.
Okay.
A woman
Now
will-
listen,
but
there
that's
are some
I understand.
things-
But
there are
the
some
question
things
is,
in life-
Michelle, how is Adam Shank being a homosexual and wanting to have a child not in a natural way affecting you in your life? And the answer is it isn't.
Yeah. JD just asked you a question, Michelle. Did you not hear it?
It's breaking up a little. Go ahead. Could you ask it again, please?
Go
I
ahead.
said the question is, how is Adam Shank, or any homosexual for that matter, having a child with their husband or their partner who happens to be the same sex as them, how is that adversely affecting your life, Michelle?
It's really not. I'm just saying that he said we're not trying to change anything, but the gay community does have a definite agenda. They do want to influence us and our opinions.
That's not okay.
I will not
Hold on.
be
That is
influenced and change my mind.
Hold on a second. That's Michelle. Again, with all due respect, that is a big generalization you just made.
A giant
Let me just finish my thought.
gay conspiracy?
Okay, first of all, there are many people in the gay community like Adam Sank that just want to live their life. They don't want to be bothered. They want to do what they want to do as far as what you would do. Have kids, raise a family, be left alone, work, go to their home, provide food on the dinner table. And if you don't want that lifestyle and you don't want your fans or friends, family to have that lifestyle, that's fine. That's on you. But why should we push legislation forward just because your opinion might be different than somebody else? That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
They do not want to live quiet, peaceful lives in regular neighborhoods.
What do you mean?
They want to influence society and change it from the roots of foundation of society.
What do you mean the roots of society should be treating everyone as equals and letting people live their lives regardless of sexual orientation? That should be what America's all about, treating everyone as equals, to have the freedom to be able to date who you want to date no matter what they look like or what they have between their legs. That is the roots of America as far as I'm concerned.
All I know is there's some things in life that we are to use self-control. There are things that will always come our way, like temptations, and you just deny it. We're talking about basic things: drinking, drugs, alcohol.
So you think we all should deny? So you think we all should deny sex? I don't understand what you're saying. I don't get it. What do you mean?
When the temptation comes of same-sex inappropriate relations, you turn from it from the very beginning. When it first comes your way, it came my way too. And I was a little like,
okay,
gee, what would it be like to have a female?
Listen, Michelle.
But no, I said no because I didn't want to eat.
I understand,
Michelle. It sounds like you consistently have these urges to have relationships with females, and you're afraid to do so based on the conversation that we're having.
Is that true?
I'm not afraid of anything.
No,
all I know is that I have said no to drugs. I've said no to men that want to say, "Hey, let's just live together."
Well, certain drugs, okay, I understand, Michelle. Certain drugs are against the law. It's not against the law for a man to date a man or a woman to date a woman. And I apologize. I just had the temptation to hang up on you. 702-257-5396. Again, the number to call if you want to be a part of this conversation. 257-5396. Let's go to Becca. Becca, you are next up on the Vegas Take. Becca, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Becca?
So first, I've actually called in several times. We've had some really lovely conversations in the past. I am a bisexual person. I have never told you that in our previous conversations. The reason that I completely understand why. What was his name? Adam Shank. Right?
Aaron. Well, Adam is the podcaster that happens to be gay. That shares my own opinions. That this lawmaker Aaron Shock just came out. Let me just, Becca, if I can for just 1 second, let me just reset the story, and then I'll let you make your comments. So former if you're just joining us, former Republican lawmaker Aaron Shock has just come out as gay. Now, normally that would probably be a good thing, but here's the issue with this. During his 6 years in Congress, Shock voted
a lot of anti-LGBT.
Exactly.
votes.
He voted against many measures supporting the LGBTQ community, which is utterly disgusting, and he's a coward with no backbone. We're taking your calls at 702-257-5396 and talking about this. We have Becca on the line. She is an openly gay female. So what are your thoughts on this, Becca?
So I can see it from both sides, quite frankly. I can understand why he took so long to come out because of people like your last caller, quite frankly. The gay community does not have an agenda. We just want to be accepted. And it really irks me whenever people say that because I just want to be able to live my life the same way that every other person gets to
Sure.
who is a straight person.
Sure.
Now, that being said, when she said infiltrating our neighborhoods, I actually live in a really nice community here in Vegas, and my neighbors have been nothing but kind about the fact that me and my wife are both women. They've been nothing but accepting. They are so sweet. And we're not trying to push our views and our way of life on other people. We just
Right.
want to be able to live our lives.
Yeah, and by the way, I have a problem with that, and I agree with you, by the way, Beck. I have a problem with people who make statements like that, like the last caller. What about all the straight people that infiltrate neighborhoods? What about all the straight people that commit sins, that commit crimes? What about all the straight people that are bad people? Don't you make this claim that just because you're gay, you're dirtying our neighborhoods and you're infiltrating our neighborhoods? It's absolute nonsense, and I think it's really sad that there are people in society that think like that, right? Those are the type of people.
It's very much a double standard.
Yeah, those are the type of people that will never say a negative thing about Donald Trump, the man who has unprotected sex with porn stars 2 months after his wife has a child, commits adultery on a regular basis. He is a weasel who goes after women based on looks and go after POWs.
Brian,
but hold on, let me finish.
Why do you integrate
Let me
Trump?
finish.
Why do you integrate your Trump hate
All right,
checklist
what
into
do
the conversation?
Okay, well, go ahead, JD.
No,
you can open up the phone lines. Go ahead.
You want to talk about Pence? I understand. I think, honestly, I believe that
I'm trying to make a point. You interrupted me, but go ahead.
Totally, because you brought up Trump
Can
for
I finish
no reason whatsoever.
No, you didn't let me
and
finish.
ran off your checklist.
Okay, you didn't let me finish. So
Brian.
if you could please let me finish why I brought up Donald Trump, I think I'm going in a circle here. You'll understand. The people on the right, Becca, you could tell me if you agree or disagree. There are people on the right, the evangelical right, that will not say one negative thing about Donald Trump, the sins he commits, the adultery, the lying, the taxes, going after POWs, going after Gold Star families, going after immigrants. Okay, they won't say a word about that. But, oh, my God, if you come out as gay, oh, no, we need to pay for you to go to conversion therapy. They're idiots. That's what these people are, Becca.
I completely agree with that. And unfortunately, the fact of the matter is that one of the reasons that I feel like this guy probably didn't come out until now is that, especially as a Republican, and this is coming from a girl who was born and raised in Texas for
20
years of my life.
Bush country, GW country.
I have family who has disowned me because I came out as bi.
That's awful.
I have family who did not come to our wedding because they didn't support it, and we don't talk anymore. And it's an unfortunate thing, but I can understand why that has influenced not only his ability to openly be him, but also some of the votes that he made. Now, that being said, I think that it is despicable, and I wish that he would have really come to terms with this before he hurt the LGBT community nationwide. But I can understand why he was scared.
Sure.
So, personal question, Becca. If you get intoxicated and you're a female and you just have we'll call it a makeout session with your female friend, does that make you bi, or like what actually do you define as bi?
I define bi as wanting to have a actual relationship with a woman, as well as having wanting to have that same type of relationship with a man. I know plenty of people, some of my best friends, all of whom are straight, who have gotten drunk at a bar in their 20s, or heck, even recently, and like just for fun, they go and make out with a girl, but there's nothing, they don't have that urge to do anything more than just have some fun, kiss a person, and
of course,
that's it.
yeah,
There's
well,
no romantic feelings.
Of course, AKA also known as I kissed a girl and I like it. And by the way, for the record, for the record, Becca, let me just say men are disgusting. So I'm with you 100. We could get along, Becca. We're going to hit up the strip club together one of these days. All right?
They're fun, but
I hear you.
I lean a little more towards the ladies.
I understand. Well, Becca, we have that in common. Thank you so much for the phone call. We appreciate you sharing that with us.
Great call, Becca.
Yep, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Carl. Carl, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
What's up, Carl?
How you doing, buddies?
Good.
Listen, before I give you my point, I want to clue you in on something. The reason Brady didn't listen to your first hour, he was locked in the closet. Somebody had to let him out.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. That would not surprise me.
You're not usually funny, Carl, but that was actually very funny.
Okay. No, listen, let me get something straight. I mentioned this a long time ago, but the gay people and the very religious right who say it's a sin and all, well, what they're doing is they're saying God made a mistake. And let me explain the scientific reason for that and the medical reason for that. When an embryo is made, it gets a overabundance of male or female chromosomes and genes. Sometimes a male baby gets too many female chromosomes and genes.
Well, let me just interject, Carl, real quick and say that many people on the right, we've had even some of those Republicans in studio that think you are born gay, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. It shows you how dumb some of these people are. If you are one of those people that truly, truly believes that you are born gay, there's something wrong with you. You are not a very intelligent person. Now, I'm not saying that there might not be some cases, but it's not like every man wakes up in the morning in his 20s, 30s, teenage years and says, you know what? I've liked women. I think I'm going to try men today. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's not how it works. It's not like for everybody, it's a choice. It's absurd, but the evangelical right, this is what they believe. 257.
Actually, Brian, there is one sexuality. It's called pansexuality, where you're totally fluid and you choose what you're attracted to on a daily basis.
702-257-539. I don't know where to go with that. The number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Ron. Ron, you are next up on the Vegas Take.
What's up, Ron? Don't threaten Brian's life.
Good morning, BS and JD. How's it going?
It'll be going good, Ron, if this is a good phone call.
It's going well.
Well, I came up with a great idea for the United States of America.
Oh, boy,
My idea is to officially announce to the whole United States of America that 720 AD Las Vegas, Nevada is now the official queer station of America. All because of you, BS. Because BS, that's all you ever defend.
Well, I appreciate that, Ron, and I'm also going to.
There you go.
I am also going to.
Officially the queer station of America.
Thank you, Ron.
I'm very happy that you're proficient in initials.
I am also going to say this day is the official day where Ron the Nut calls in, and I officially call it Ron the Nut Day, Ron the Psycho Day. So right back at you, my friend. 702-25.
Really good call, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, unfortunately, I was in a church service about 5 or 6 years ago. I was on a date, actually. Trust me, I did not want to go. I was on a date. And I heard the priest saying some things that same day. And that same day, when I was in church, that priest used the term queer. The same phrase that this last idiot just called in used. I was pretty pissed off. And I'm not gay. If I was, I would admit it. I would have no problem admitting who I am. I'm a very straight man. Doesn't mean I get a lot of women, but I am straight. I do like women. And I went up to that priest after the service, with my date, by the way, there, and I didn't care. I was so pissed off that this guy would use that word in front of children. And I went up to him and I said, how dare you? And he said, what do you mean? I said, how dare you use the term queer in front of these people, a derogatory term like that? I said, you should be ashamed of yourself. You call yourself a man of God, and you're disgusting. He looked at me with a blank stare, sorry you feel that way, and he walked away. Didn't defend the word he used. It's just disgusting. Nobody should ever use that word. It's a derogatory term that is used towards homosexuals. If you don't like somebody for whatever reason, not their sexuality, and you want to call them an idiot or a moron, whatever, but to call somebody a name because of their sexuality is pure ignorance. 257-5396. Let's go to Ron. Ron, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What is going on?
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey, Brian. How are you guys?
Good.
How are you guys?
What's on your mind?
Hey, listen. The guy that was just on earlier, I have to disagree because it says in the Bible, it says God gave over man to their imperfections. So when men started laying with men and women, he led them on to their perversions. He let them go. Do what you want to do. It's called free will. That's the only thing I disagree with that other guy about.
Right.
So, and yesterday, hey man, I wasn't trolling. I really do like you. And I didn't know what happened to Michael Avenatti because I hadn't followed
It's
it.
all good.
So
Listen, Ron, I appreciate that explanation. It's all good, my friend. Always appreciate your phone calls.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for calling in, Ron.
You're right. Brian did get very defensive yesterday.
257-5396. Let's go to Mark. Mark, you are next up on the Vegas Take. Mark, what's going on?
What's up, Mark?
How
you doing, Mark?
Pretty good. I lean to the right a little bit. More to the right than some.
Yep.
I'm also a Christian. Now, the Bible does mention about homosexuality being a sin. But Jesus Christ also said, do not judge others, lest ye be judged yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for man to judge.
Right.
It's for God to judge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to go out there and do whatever it is you're going to do behind closed doors, that's your right. That's your prerogative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to condemn anybody for what they're doing.
Right.
I have my beliefs, and I'm deep in my beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has that right to choose. At the end of the day, my belief is that you will be judged by Jesus Christ and God.
Mm-hmm.
That is my belief.
Yep.
Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if there's nothing after life, then you know what? I lived a good life.
You know what, Mark? I like what you said, and you're right, by the way. I would never take that right away from you. You have a right to your opinion. You have a right to feel the way you feel. I just don't like those who try to push their religious beliefs on others. But, Mark, and you said something else. We all don't know. We all don't know if there's life after death. We all don't know whether God or Jesus is going to judge us. I have no idea. You have no idea. We just don't know. And what I don't like is the people that think they know everything. They know that there's a heaven and hell. They know that there's a devil. We don't know anything. You might be right. You might be wrong. I could be right. I could be wrong.
Well, listen, I mean, and that is your opinion. But see, my opinion.
Well, no, it's a fact. Nobody knows. Nobody knows for sure.
No. No one knows for sure.
Right, that's all I'm saying.
But it is my belief, and I am entitled to that belief.
And I just said you are entitled to it.
I'm not going to condemn you.
I just said I'm not condemning. I'm not condemning you, Mark. Make no mistake. I'm not condemning you. All I simply
no. I understand that. I'm just saying my belief is what I've stated.
Yeah, and you're entitled to your belief.
There's a lot of people out there, especially on the left, that do not believe in God, do not believe in Jesus, are towards atheism, and that's fine too.
Well, I'm not even an atheist, Mark. I believe that there is a God out there. I just don't choose to live my life based on a book. I choose to live my life the way I choose to live it. I don't break the law. I abide by the laws, and I just don't live this world based on a book. That's just my. You know what my book is? I'll tell you what my book is. My Bible, my book is the way my parents raised me. My book and my Bible is my moral ground. I don't need the Bible or what Jesus or God or what whoever said to tell me how to live my life. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I was raised a certain way. My parents raised me that way, and I don't go by what Jesus said or what God said or what somebody said 10,000 years ago. 702-257-5396. Let's go to John. John, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, John?
Hey, good morning. I caught the tail end of this, of your show. And, of course, I'm not a holy roller, and I believe God. It's all a bunch of BS. You believe who cares what this guy believes, what the other guy believes? Who cares? Who gives a rat's about, well, I think this, and I think I never read the Bible. I mean, I don't even know how it's done.
Neither did I, John. John, neither did I.
I'm Catholic, by birth, but I really don't believe any of that.
I think the Bible says thou shalt not be homophobic and thou shalt not be a fat orange man. I thought I read a passage in the Bible that said that.
I got a couple of quick questions for you because I don't know anything about it.
Quickly, because we only got about a minute. Go ahead, John.
All right. The first thing is, I don't know if people are gay, born that way, or they become gay after. That I don't know. I mean, this is the only people we have a conversation. That's
well, let's go with that. I think Donald Trump was born a scumbag. Let's go with that one.
No, forget politics. I don't give a rat's ass about that.
Oh, no, it's nothing to do with politics. Donald Trump was just born a scumbag, a bad guy. If people want to believe people are born gay, I believe Donald Trump was born an orange man scumbag. He was orange right out of the womb. That's what I think.
I just want to say one more thing. There was a thing on TV. They said that they couldn't understand it. They had identical twin boys, and I never saw this before. One was gay and one was straight. They blew their theories out of the water. They said, because they figured the same DNA and everything, they'd be the same. So I don't know. I mean, if you could tell me if somebody's born gay or not.
I don't believe it. Yeah, John, and listen, I appreciate your comments. No, I've been very clear on this opinion. I think there are some people that the gay might be a choice with few certain situations, maybe some horrific things that have happened to them when they were kids. I mean, I do know people where that has been the case, but the majority of people are born that way. There's no question about it. It's not like men or women wake up one day and say, I think I'm going to like men today, or I think I'm going to like women today. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. All right, this is going to be a lot of fun. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Tomi Lahren. She's from Fox Nation. And Tomi Lahren also graduated from UNLV. You've seen her everywhere. Fox Nation, Fox News. She's been all over the networks, all over the TV shows. And she's got some strong opinions, and we're really glad that we're going to be able to get her coming up next. Tomi Lahren, former UNLV grad, will be joining us next. This is the Vegas Take, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.